Second here. We'll go ahead and get live. There it is. What's up, guys? Justin R. Harris here. You know what we're doing? We're covering the business topics, getting down and dirty. I hear my feedback on my headphones over there. It's kind of annoying. How about I just disconnect? There it is. All right, so real quick, go over to YouTube, like, subscribe, get that out of the way. Let's just get that out of the way right now. You know, we don't want to deal with that for later. I'll throw my little icon out there. Make sure that you guys knock that out there. You guys see that little icon pop up there in the corner. After that, come on back over here. Let's get caught up on these videos, business videos. You see the topic for this one. How much money do you invest in business? How much? How does that even work? Everyone knows this conversation. You know that there's going to be a loss, right? You know that it's going to be for a while. What you don't know is how successful your product is. So you can almost guarantee at that point that when you are starting, whether it's by yourself with your startup or you have a group or whatever you guys are doing, you have to have an expectation on how much money you're not going to make yet, right? If you ever hear the term, we're not in the black yet, which means that you're still in the red, and the red is the negative, right? So you want to look at all those costs. And it's not just the cost of how much it costs for you to get the goods, and then you're now trying to replenish your inventory and cover your operational fees. Let's not forget the startup fees as well. You have your operational fees, which is, you know, maybe you're leasing a space and then you pay your electric and whatever other ancillary costs there are, monthly employees, or you don't have employees yet. You're in there working for your business right now. You don't want to do that for too long, right? And so you have that all established. And then at the same time, you need to look at what it took for you to get to that point. What were those costs? Put that in there, because as you start to develop income, that's going to tell you how far you are before you're out of the red. Okay, it's not just month by month so that you can cover your bills. That is the first step. And then after you're covering your bills, then you got to look at how much you're making to cover the cost that got you up to that point to open the doors. Whether it is a physical location, whether it is just a virtual business or what have you, you want to think about that as well, right? So taking all of that into consideration, let's get into this topic. Because on this one, he talks about cost control in a growth business, right? And he says to grow a business, one has to put in front end money, right? Common sense. That money is invested in tomorrow's profit makers so that those front end investments will only be costs and no returns, sometimes for a long time. This is what he's explaining. Peter Drucker. Remember, follow along. Click the link over in YouTube. I put the link there so that you can buy the book over on Amazon and follow along if you haven't done so already. You don't want to follow along, you just want to listen to me with my gorgeous build, then do it. Just watch me comb my beard with my fingers and talk about this nonsense, right? So here it is. So how does one manage those to maintain cost control? Okay, the first thing is to budget these activities separately, okay? And then he calls that the opportunities budget. Then he says the second rule, therefore, is to think what results will we expect from these investments in the future and in what time period, right? So putting all of that together is kind of how you start setting your expectations. Hopefully you've done your homework in the beginning, like we spoke about in the previous series, the previous episodes where we talk about, okay, having your studies, doing, you know, the research therein, your demographics, understanding your customer, right? Understanding what it is that you bring, right? Knowing your product, things like that. He gives an example here. He says, the best example I know is how Citibank became the world's only successful transactional bank in the early 1970s. So he's going back. This is back in his day, not our day. Because our day, we're looking at, you know, popular banks now. Most of them are more virtual. People are talking investments. You know, now when people think money, also a part of the conversation is cryptocurrency. So, and then, you know, someone's going to look back on this video and be like, wow, he's talking cryptocurrency. Like, that's outdated. You know what I mean? Like, so you never know, right? You could be dating it. And he says, the reason that Citi was first thought through how much front-end investment in a new branch could be justified, it thought through what the minimum results in the new territory could and should be. So he says, Citibank asked, how much business can we expect in the new country if we are successful and become a market leader? How annoying is that siren, right? That's, you could be on a phone call and then all of a sudden you start hearing that and you're like, yeah, they're going to save someone's life, but God, can it just hurry up and go by? All right. So, and how much front-end investment is then justified in summing that front-end investment must not exceed a certain percentage of the potential results, right? So you have to think about that. How much of that is succeeding those potential results at the same time? And then Citi knew from its own experience how long it should be before the new branch should reach a break even. That is, before it should begin to produce profits. So when are you truly making your profits? Let's hit the action point here. He goes, budget development projects separately. Develop most likely estimates of expected results. Monitor results and adjust expectations accordingly. Right? So it's basically exactly how I explained. Although you have your startup, then you have your operational costs, right? When you start breaking even of your operational costs, then you start making a percentage of your new profit, is what I'm going to call it, because you're now covering your monthly, daily costs. So now your new profit, a percentage of that, if not maybe a lot of it, but I would say a percentage of it, needs to start covering what it took to get you to the point where you opened the doors. Okay? Once you start eliminating that, you are truly making profit. There it is. All right. Don't forget that you are calling it yourself when you pay yourself as an employee as well. Because if you're not paying yourself, then when someone's looking at your business, they're like, how much are you making? And you're like, well, I take from the profit. Ooh, that's a sign. That's a sign that the business is not actually making what it's making. So make sure you do all of that accordingly. And that's how you know. Thank you guys for tuning in. Too long a video.